Welcome back. Now, the illicit cigarette trade may be the death of British American Tobacco's only manufacturing plant in South Africa. This as illegal cigarettes now account for 75% of the market. Closure of the plant puts 230 direct jobs at risk, while the ripple effect means that thousands will be impacted negatively by this move. But if government can get a handle on the black markets, BAT may reconsider. But for now, I quit is where we're at with the cigarette maker as far as local production is concerned. Johnny Moloto, Head of Corporate and Regulatory Affairs for BAT Sub-Saharan Africa, joins us with more detail. Hi Johnny, good to have you with us on Business Lunch.
Good afternoon, Ray, and thanks for the opportunity.
So we've all heard the news about you closing the Heidelberg facility, but it's still on the table that if government can turn the situation around, you may just stay. Where do we find ourselves now?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. The starting point for us is really the macros don't allow us to continue local production, given that we're only operating at 35% capacity of total available capacity at the factory. If government can turn things around, which we certainly do hope they can, yes, definitely we will be coming back because our commitment remains to South Africa. Hence, this is just a model change where we'll be focusing on imports rather than local production. The only challenge that you have, Ray, is that the decision that we've taken now as where we are today is that it is a final decision, given that we don't foresee any drastic change that can turn the market around within the space of a year when this problem has been with us for close to a decade now.
Yeah. Have you spoken to government about this? Have you said to them, look, this is what's coming. If you don't get a handle on this illicit trade, we are going to close our operation. Did you speak to them?
We have been engaging with government, as I say, for close to a decade now, without gaining much traction. And I think the only turning point for us where we started seeing, some form of action being taken was post the Government of National Unity, where there have been, I would say, better opportunities to engage with a variety of parties across the government spectrum, whether it be Parliament as well as the executive itself. And we have started seeing some, movements towards attempting to do something, substantive from an enforcement point of view. But regrettably, that has not matched the size of the illicit, as well as enforcing with better results that will show a fair and level playing field for all players within the space.
How do you enforce this? I mean, it's illicit cigarettes. People can buy it on the corner. You can buy whatever you want. I mean, what should government do to stop this? It seems to be this impossible problem.
Yeah. Before it became an impossible problem, Ray, before it hit 75%, there was a time where it was manageable, right? And this is not to say that this cannot be reversed, because the reality of South Africa is that it's an outlier amongst most countries that have cigarette producing capabilities, because ours is homegrown. 80% of the problem is right here on home soil. So you know who actually you are enforcing against. So you're enforcing against players that are in the market, locally within a 50 to 80 kilometer radius of the revenue authorities, and the revenue authority licenses these factory facilities, where they can go and actually, we had said this before and called for this over and over again, because we had seen it work once before and it's low-hanging fruit. Place customs officials in factories to monitor production. That's the first thing you can do, because that's where a lot of things start to go awry. But secondly, it's a policy decision, and this is where government has a choice, and it's something that is within their control that doesn't require a lot of changes. It's actually an exercise that is sensible, that allows us to be able to compete without ever expanding the gap between duty paid and duty unpaid cigarettes, because that's where the problem lies. The cheapest of these products are the ones that are not duty paid. But the third one that we've also said as a stopgap measure that you can look at is introducing a minimum retail price that actually acts as a force multiplier, because it allows the law enforcement authorities beyond SARS, which has limited capabilities or capacity rather, to be able to allow all other law enforcement agencies to be able to seize any product that is below a certain amount and then prosecute. Just put that in law, and then you make it easy, because at the moment it's a highly technical and complex process
Right.
to enforce against. Yeah.
Johnny, cigarettes are cigarettes. Okay, cigarettes are cigarettes, but it's what you put into those cigarettes which are a little bit disturbing. Is it also about educating people as well to say if you buy legal cigarettes, there may be things inside those cigarettes that are really unhealthy for you?
Yeah, I mean, it would be disingenuous for me, Ray, to say one cigarette is healthier than the other, as you
Sure.
correctly pointed out. But there are guidelines and standards to which we all must adhere as manufacturers, right? You ought to have a diamond step. You ought to have certain levels of tar and tar and nicotine content in those cigarettes. So some don't obviously comply. Some are out of that range that is set by government, which can be easily enforced as well. But I think the biggest challenge for us is the duty non-paid
Yeah.
issue, is where tax is evaded at a very large scale. Because if you are able to claw back on those resources that are not coming into the fiscus, then you can actually give the government more resources to be able even to enforce on other compliance areas beyond just
Yeah,
taxes.
I hope SARS is watching this interview very closely. Johnny, thank you so much. Good to have you with us on Business Lunch. We do appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much. That was Johnny Moloto, Head of Corporate and Regulatory Affairs for BAT Sub-Saharan Africa.